Now the third phenomena which is just affecting the atmosphere, that is the main cause of the atmospheric pollution, is that the ozone depletion, right. So first of all, I think you are familiar with the ozone layer, because since the you are just studying this word from the lower classes, that there is a ozone layer which is just present and just preventing us from the UV rays. So now you are going to just study in detail that how this ozone is formed, how it is now getting depleted, what are the function it is just performing for us, and what we can do to just save it, right. So the first of all, you should know that what is the ozone. Ozone is actually a gas with the formula that is the O3, right, and it is, as I said, it is a gas. So it is a gas and it has a color too, it is bluish gas, right, and so that means ozone is indicated by O3, that means the bluish gas, and it is an explosive gas too. It is like in nature, it is explosive in nature, and it has a pronounced odor. It has a pronounced odor too. So that means this is how, if somebody is going to ask you that what is ozone or what is the molecular formula for it, so you are just going to tell that yes, it is a gas with the molecular formula O3, and it do have a color also, and the color is bluish, and the nature is explosive, and if we talk about the odor, so it has the pronounced odor, right. So this is the ozone layer. Now the question must be coming in your mind that where this layer is present, as you most of you must be familiar that where it is present, but still we will be doing it, that it is present, as we know that atmosphere has got different layers. So out of them it is present in a layer that is the stratosphere, and this layer is actually 20 to 30 kilometers above Earth, right. And you know that the thickness of this ozone is not same all over. It is less thicker towards equator, and its thickness just increased towards poles. So that means the thickness just varies. Where it is thicker, less thicker towards equator, and it is more thicker towards pole, right. Now the question must be striking that what is the use of this kind of layer, as we know there is an atmosphere present, that is a mixture of gas, and what is the need of this other gas, that is the O3, to present in the atmosphere. You know that as I told you when we were discussing the global warming, I told you that the sunlight actually consists of three kind of waves. One is the visible rays, one is the infrared rays, and one is the UV rays, right. And the rays whose wavelength is smaller than 400 is the UV, larger than 700 is the infrared, and the rays which lies between the 400 to the 700 is visible. I will just write for you. See, the sunlight, you can say this consists of a proper spectrum in which we have UV rays, we have visible region, and we have infrared rays, right. So these actually just vary in their wavelength and frequency, right. So the UV rays has wavelength less than 400 nanometer. It has a range between 400 to 700 nanometer, and it has wavelength more than 700. More than 700, right. So as I told you that visible region do not have any adverse effect, as these are just imparting color to the all objects present on the earth, because it is a visible region, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. You know that you are familiar with the Vibgyor. And these infrared rays, as we have done, that it is just the main cause of global warming. So it is just affecting the environment, that it is causing the main you can say the phenomena, that is the global warming. Now this UV rays which has wavelength less than 400 nanometers is very harmful for us, very harmful for us, as the sun is emitting this UV rays along with the sunlight. So that means we have to have, like, we just want that there should be some protective layer that should not allow this UV rays to just fall on the earth, and that protective layer is the ozone layer, right. Now what is what is the need to just prevent this UV rays to reach the earth? What is the need? You know that UV rays are just harmful for us. How they are harmful? They are causing skin cancers, they are causing eye cataract, They are just affecting our immune system. You know that what is the immune system? Immunity is actually the resistance against disease, the resistance against disease. So how it affects? It affects the immune system by damaging the cells. So that means it is just harming us, because if we'll be exposed to these kind of rays, our immunity will be lowered and we'll be more prone to the infections. So that means it can be a fatal, it can be proved to be a fatal for us, right? And you know that its penetrating power is too high. It can even penetrate through us, this flesh even can penetrate through us skin inside, and can penetrate through the organs as well, and even can penetrate to the cell membranes, and they just have the effect, and they can just you can say affect our genes. And you know that the genes are too important, because they are the hereditary vehicles. They just carry the hereditary information from one generation to the other generation. So they can just cause the genetic disorders. So that means it can just affect the human in a you can say a fatal manner. How? It is just, see, it is causing skin cancers, it is causing eye cataract, it is causing genetic disorder, it is just retarding the growth, it is just damaging the cells, it is affecting the immune system. So what else we are left with, right? So that means it is just affecting us in an adverse way it can do. So that means ultraviolet rays are not fit, like we are not fit to get exposed to ultraviolet rays. So that means they have to be we should be protected by it. And what protection the atmosphere is offering is the ozone layer. This layer actually do not allow these rays to just fall on the earth, and so that we should not be exposed to these kind of rays. And it is not it is not like that it is just affecting us like the humans. It is affecting the plant too. It is just decreasing the germination of the pollen grains, retarding growth, and whatever the adverse effect it can do on plants, it is doing all that. So that means ultraviolet, there has to be a certain source which do not allow ultraviolet rays to just fall on the earth, and that source, that protective layer is our ozone layer, that is the O3, right? So that means it is just performing a very important function, that it is protecting us from this dangerous ray that is affecting us, that is the ultraviolet rays. Now the question must be you'll be curious to know that how this ozone layer is formed, or who has formed this ozone layer, or is there any scientist who has just formed the band and just went on the stratosphere and just you fit that band. So it is not like that, it is just forming in nature as such. So just see that how it is being formed in nature. It is just formation of ozone. Right. So how this layer is formed? We know that the atmosphere consists of oxygen. You know that oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, there are many gases which are present in atmosphere. But the gas which is responsible for the formation of ozone layer is oxygen, right? So we will be taking into consideration the only oxygen. So oxygen we know is O2. So what happens? When they get exposed to ultraviolet rays, they just split into O plus O. That means the oxygen molecule gets break into the atomic oxygen, right? But because this is happening at 20 to 30 kilometers above Earth, right? Means, or you can say above, more than it, above 30 kilometers. But what is happening as this atomic oxygen is formed, but on the lower side we have oxygen gas. So these oxygen gas combine with the atomic oxygen to form ozone. So this kind of reaction, the first step is also called as photolysis, because in presence of light the molecule just break into the atomic oxygen, that is the photolysis. So see, just look at the board how it is formed. I am repeating again. We have the oxygen gas, so you can say the oxygen gas which is just present near the sun, when it just encounter the UV rays, it gets split, this molecule gets undergoes photolysis, that means it split into the atomic oxygen, right? But the layer just below it is we have O2 there, so O2 and O just form this ozone layer. So this is how ozone is being formed. Now what happens as we move more lower, so this O3 rays is just splitting into O2 and O as well, right? This is again is done by ultraviolet rays. So actually that means this show a destruction and this show a formation. So there is actually a balance which is maintained between its formation and between its destruction. That means UV rays is just splitting this O2 into O and O, and also just this O2 is combining with O to form O3. And simultaneously, as O3 has, you can say the ultraviolet rays has the ability to split O2, so definitely it has the ability to split O3 as well, right? So that means it is not just splitting the O2, it has the ability to split O3 as well. So but there is a balance maintained between its formation and between its destruction. So that means or you can say the balance just favors the formation, right? Like it doesn't favor the destruction. It is, though the destruction is occurring, but still you can say if we talk about in terms of equilibrium, so the reaction which is more favored is the formation one. So this just leads to the formation of the ozone layer. Now how this you know that this ozone layer is from the past many years, it is just getting depleted, and somehow some percentage of UV rays are just falling on the earth. Now the question is that what is the actual source that is causing the ozone depletion? If somebody asks you that what is ozone depletion, so you have to say that the thinning of the ozone layer is called as ozone depletion, right? So whether I use the term ozone depletion or thinning of ozone means the same, right? So that means now the question is that what are those substances, or how they are just causing the ozone depletion. That means how the thinning of ozone layer is occurring nowadays. So see, there are many components which are present in atmosphere that are just thinning the ozone layer, out of which CFC is the major one, right? You must be familiar with the CFC. They are used as the coolant in the refrigerators. It is used in the ACs as well. It is used in the aerosol spray as well. So these are actually you can say the major factor which is just causing the ozone depletion, and its full form is chlorofluorocarbons. I repeat, chlorofluorocarbons. Now how this chlorofluorocarbon is just depleting our main ozone layer. So just look at board. So what it is doing, these chlorofluorocarbons, they just have a tendency, like when they escape on the earth, they have the tendency to move up, right? So when their fumes are just moving up, and they're just rising to a height, to a great height. So what happens when they rise to a great height, just liberate the chlorine out of them. As I told you, it is chlorofluorocarbon. So that means it just has a tendency to liberate chlorine. So what this chlorine is doing, this chlorine is combining with the O3, that is our ozone layer, our important layer, and it just leads to the formation of this. So that means the oxygen, it is just splitting the ozone layer, and we know that you can say a factor that just leads to the split of the ozone layer is just causing the thinning of the ozone layer. And there are not only CFCs, there are many other factors just like CCl4. We have many other things which are just splitting the ozone layer into the oxygen and the atomic oxygen. That means it is just leading to the ozone depletion, that is the thinning of our main protective layer, that is the ozone layer. So this is how the ozone layer is. I think you have understood in a proper manner now what is ozone, how it is helping us, why UV rays should be why earth should be prevented from the UV rays, how it is being prevented, how ozone is formed, what is the balance actually just exists between the the preparation and the destruction, how it is just the CFCs are just harming our ozone layer. So these are the important factors that just constitute this ozone depletion. But now the question is that what can we do to just save our ozone layer, right? So we can just take an initiative, that is we can use alternative sources, like instead of using CFCs, like I told you, it is used in AC, and you know that in summers you cannot stay without ACs, right? And even you know you need the refrigerators for the chilled water, right? So that means we cannot just avoid our luxuries, but still what we can do is we can just make use of another alternative source in those luxuries, so that we also enjoy the comfort and even our ozone layer doesn't get depleted, right? And what are those you can say the alternative source? We can use PFC, we can use HFC instead of chlorofluorocarbons, we can use the phosphorus fluorocarbon, we can use the hydrogen fluorocarbon, PFC, HFC instead of using the CFC. They don't have the adverse effect of ozone, or you can say they don't deplete the ozone layer. So this is how we can do. One more thing what we can do is, and one more thing which is striking in my mind, which I want to share with you. Do you know what is Montreal Protocol? I repeat, I'll write for you. It is Montreal Protocol. See, as everybody is aware that how this ozone is protecting us. Like, so it is a big issue for many countries, many you can say almost it is a big issue for the world itself, that we have to just protect ourselves from the UV rays. So that means we need an ozone layer. And as the scientists and everybody just concluded that our ozone is getting depleted, because there was a hole also which was found near the Australia. So that means that hole can just increase in the size, and it is being increased. You know that every year the size of that hole is increasing. It was something else in the past 2 years, and now it is just increased its size. So that means a day is not far that we will be deprived of our protective layer. So that means we need to just we need to have something, we have to resolve this kind of issue. And you know that for this to resolve this issue, an agreement, that is Montreal Protocol, was launched. And you know that what is it? It is actually an agreement. It is not an organization. It is an agreement which is you can say was meant by the 14 countries. And you know that what this agreement stated? This agreement just stated that freeze the production of CFC. That means just stop the production of CFC, and instead of producing the CFC, look for another alternative source so that we can protect our ozone layer. So if somebody asks you about the Montreal Protocol, so just write it is an agreement between the 14 industrialized countries that just stress, or you can say their main aim is to just prevent, or you can say freeze the production of CFC. Do not produce CFC, as it is just depleting our ozone layer, right? So there are many other things which I may not be listing now, and you may explore when you think like an individual, that how we can just prevent our ozone layer. So just do it on your do it in your way, and just try to save the environment.